Monday is President's Day, a time to look back on the legacies the leaders of our country leave behind. President Harry S. Truman's contributions changed the course of American and world history. We took a trip to Independence to discuss Missouri's native son at the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library and Museum. I'm here with Kurt Graham, director of the Truman Library and Museum. Thank you for having us in the Oval Office, of all places. President's Day, as you know, started as a celebration for President George Washington, kind of evolved into this celebration for all presidents. I imagine it carries special meaning here.
Oh, it does indeed. And I think one of the reasons that's true is because Harry Truman, in many ways, was a president's president. He is the one president that is more often quoted. He's so respected by leaders on both sides of the aisle. I've had strong conservatives and strong progressives both tell me you have a great legacy to be responsible for here. Harry Truman is just one of those people that everyone respects because not so much that they agree ideologically with everything that he did, but they certainly respect the way he conducted himself in office and the man that he was. And so it's a tremendous opportunity, I think, for us in this community to reflect on what it means to have not just a president, but this president.
And the admiration for President Truman kind of changed over time, evolved over time as well.
Oh, absolutely. He leaves office, as you know, with some of the lowest poll numbers in recorded history, since the taking of polls was a thing. And it's interesting to realize now he's consistently ranked the 5th or 6th most important president in our history, behind Washington, Lincoln, and the 2 Roosevelts. He is taken his place, his rightful place, I believe, in the pantheon of American statesmen, and there's nobody quite like him.
What do you think he would say about a holiday like that, like President's Day?
Well, as I said, he was a president's president. I think that he would find it appropriate to honor the presidents as a group. I think he thought that that office carried a gravitas, and he was very much in favor of that. I know he would have been very respectful of that. He would be shocked to have us standing here today talking about him and realizing that we've made this place so much about him. That was never his vision. His vision was a classroom for democracy. His vision was a place that young people would come to learn about how government works. The idea that it has become a celebration of his life and legacy would be shocking and even maybe somewhat uncomfortable for him.
And a celebration that has evolved in and of itself over time because, I mean, we have the renovations now almost 2 years old,
right.
But many people haven't been here since all of this work has been done because of the pandemic. Absolutely. So you're open on President's Day.
Absolutely.
So yeah. What can people expect? What should they come here to see?
Well, it is interesting you mentioned the pandemic. It has been a very awkward time to try and reopen a museum because not everybody's comfortable coming out, and it's been a little bit of start and stop in that way. But we are fully open. We want people to be here. Certainly, I think one of the greatest things a local person could do is come here to the Truman Library on President's Day and go pay their respects at the gravesite. Mr. and Mrs. Truman are buried here at the Truman Library, and that in and of itself is a very unique feature. Not all of the libraries have that, and we're very fortunate to have the Trumans interred here on site and be able to come and pay respects to them in that way.
And just to be able to have this resource in our own backyard is remarkable.
There are only 14 of these libraries in the country, and the one of them is in Independence, Missouri, here in the Kansas City Metro, is really quite phenomenal. And also because of the renovations, there's nothing like this anywhere in the system. I've visited all the libraries. There's nothing that compares with the new exhibits and the way we've told this story. And we've had people from all the other libraries come through, and they're floored. They're amazed at what they've seen here. We've had a great team put this together. This is really something that everybody in the community should see. You owe it to yourself to get out here and see what's happened.
All right, well, you heard it here. Come on over on President's Day and come see the Truman Library Museum. Kurt Graham, thank you so much.
Thank you.